Hi, Clay from Popel's Backyard Farm. We've shown you this roll of tissue box before, but now I'm going to show you the one that I've been working on by using the multicolored yarn. This has 4 different colors in it, and what we ended up with is I did 5 different patterns to show you 2 different stitches, and I'll show you how that stitch is done. So if you show them this one here, Ruthie. You have all the orange and the red, the maroon, and the blue all on the same skein of yarn. And you can do it with any color. You can use just solid color, or you can use the multicolors with the whites, the blacks, the grays, the greens, any colored yarn. But this is what I used out of this multicolor. Alright, this is a single stitch, which I ended up doing around the outside and came in and spiraled all the way into the center, and it spirals just like this. This is the top, which is the original single stitch, which I did back and forth, and by going back and forth you get this much color from each before it changes color on your thing. So if you like this actual coloration with the pattern, or if you like this coloration, it's just the technique of either going back and forth or going around and around and around till you hit the center. Alright, now these were singles. These are the double stitch, and I'll show you how to do that too. Now this double stitch starts out, you have to come back up honey so you can see it. This double stitch comes into a spiral pattern all the way to the center, just like the thin singles. Alright, but this is your double. Gives you a wider stitch. And this one here is the double stitch back and forth, just like the top single stitch. But this is a double stitch, gives you a wider and gives you a kind of a mosaic kind of a pattern. Alright, and then I did the last one with, I split it into quarters. I measured out the holes in it, and I did the spiral one at a time. So each one of the spirals ended up being different colors, and all using the same roll of yarn. So when I get all done, this will be the top, just like this one here, and your tissue will come up through the top once I stitch these all together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to have it so your toilet tissue can come up through that box. So what you do is you have to squeeze the roll, make sure it's still connected on the end, and then you push it, and then you push the tube in, so the tube is like this, then squeeze it the other way, and then you just kind of wiggle it back and forth until the tube comes loose, holding the toilet tissue in one spot, and the tube comes out. Then when you get your box all done, like this one here, you put your cozy over top of it, put your tissue up through, and it'll come out. Now this is if you're going to use it for a toilet tissue, but this box should still go over top of a regular tissue box if you want to use, if you've got tissues. Each one of these squares are, according to this is the plastic canvas, is 5 inches. A 5-inch square. It's not quite 5 inches. It's like one hole off, so you go one hole smaller than the 5 inches, and then you just clean up your edges and go ahead and start stitching. Now right here is this is the start of a double stitch. See how wide that is? You go from, let me use the needle, which you have to use a tapestry needle. Now tapestry needles are round on the end. They're not pointed, so you stab yourself. They're a lot easier to work with. What you do is you start, alright, I'm going to show you, you start down in the, you can start anywhere, but if you're starting a project like these, you start in a corner. So you come up through the bottom, and you leave yourself a little tail, probably about an inch or so. Now for the single stitch, we're going to do a single stitch. You kind of hold the back of it, and then you go from the hole you came up through, you go at an angle to the next one up, and go down through that one, and then up through the same side. I haven't got my glasses, so it's going to be a little difficult here. And just go down through the one at the angle, and you go around that little tail in the back. See how you're going around that tail? Keep holding it until you get all the way up around it, and then that tucks that tail in. And then you can just go right from there. One side at an angle up the other side. Just keep moving the tail back and forth so it's out of your way of your needle. And when you get all the way up, you don't have to worry about holding your thread anymore. Just keep going on, and it'll cover up that thread. I'm only doing this just to show you how it's done. You go one through the one, up through the one hole, and down through the one at an angle. Now, as you can see, I've already covered up that thread, and I just can keep going and going. Now if I wanted to go a double, I would come up through this hole, and instead of going up into the second hole, you go up to the next one. So it's like 3 in a row right here, and you go there, up through this hole, down through that one, right above the one you just went in. And this is how you do a double, so that it looks just like what I did on those other squares. Alright? This isn't, anybody can do this. I'm telling you, anybody. And it's so much nicer if you forget to buy a box. See how it's single this way and double this way? So you can either do the single, or you can do a double. And you can do any color, and to change your color, if you're sick of, alright, you're all done with your white, if you're going to make a pattern like a Christmas tree with green or something, and you're all done with this one, you got to change colors. What you do is you turn it around in the back, and you run the needle down through the back side, and pull it down through, nice and easy, and then you just clip it off. And then you can, when you change to your next color, you just start right off where you left off over here, come up through this side and down through that side with your next color. Or if you use a roll of the same color, you just keep going and going and going. So that's how you do that part. And then when your box is all completed, or your squares are all completed, then what you do is you line these two up on the side. Make sure they're both going to be, when you get them done, they're going to be the nice side out, because you do have a bad side, which has got where all your stitches were, where you've connected them, connected colors or whatever. And just go in one hole and just keep going around and around and around. What you want, if you want it nice and sturdy, each hole you go in, you want to go through that hole with the needle and thread twice until you get them all connected all the way around, and it'll leave you with the bottom open so that you can have your roll in there. Now that shows you how to put this stuff together. Now I want to show you a little thing I'm doing for the car. Okay, you're all aware of these little packages of tissues. They usually come 3 to a pack. Well, this is for the car. And I didn't sew this all together because I want to show you how you cut your hole for your tissue, and you do the same. I've done a double stitch all the way around on this, except for where I ran out of place for a double stitch, then I did a single. And around the mouth of the thing, I did my sewing just like I did around the outer edge. Well, why I left this unfinished is because I want to get some Velcro, and you put the one piece of Velcro here, and you take a needle and thread and stitch your Velcro on. And then you get the sticky side of the other piece of Velcro, and you can stick it to the dash of your van, your car, your truck. And then you've got a tissue package in your vehicle, and you leave one end open so that when you're all done and everything's all stitched and your Velcro's all sewn on, and I got to go down through here and stitch this all up after the Velcro's stitched in place, it'll leave me a little box with a little opening in the top, which I've closed it in with the yarn so there's no sharp edges. And then all you do is you slide your tissues into here and pull them up through the center. And then you got to just go out and Velcro it to your dash, your overhead visor, or any other place in the vehicle that you want. Put one in the back seat for the kids, and when the thing runs out, you just pull out the tissue and slide in another one. So this is Clay from Popel's Backyard Farm, and I hope this was a informational video for you. Just remember that anything, if you're going to make like a toaster cozy, this is a tissue paper cozy, or if you make a cozy for your power tools or anything like that, or you're doing tissue boxes or anything, make sure that when you measure the box that you're gonna, or whatever you're gonna make a cozy for, you go just a little bit bigger with the plastic canvas, because you have to make up room, because you're losing a little bit of space because of the thickness of the stitches. So if a 5 by 5 square, which is just one hole under 5 inches, so it's maybe 4 15/16 or whatever the size these holes are. Just measure from the outside of the plastic canvas and go right to where 5 inches is and cut just inside the 5-inch mark. And you too can have a cozy that'll fit over a roll of tissue, that if you do forget your tissues at the store, you can always use a roll of bathroom tissue. And when it's all done, like this one here, you can't tell that it's bathroom tissue. So no matter what color yarn you use, have fun. Just squeeze the roll until you get this to loosen up, and slide it right out and come right up through the top. Okay, this is Clay from Popel's Backyard Farm, and I hope you had fun watching this, and I had fun showing you how to do it. Alright, thank God, and bye-bye.